Hi, I'm Colleen. I've spent over 25 years working hands-on with dogs, reading behavior, timing, and the subtle signals that many people miss. I use a simple rating system to assess where a dog is mentally and emotionally in the moment, so we can understand what's really happening, not just what it looks like on the surface. You'll notice I only use very short clips from the original footage. That's because this channel isn't about replaying the show. It's about analysis, education, and learning. So let's dive in together. All right, guys. So this episode is a interesting one because the dog is obsessed. In this case, it's with rocks. But this, I want to make sure that people realize that this obsession towards rocks is the exact same obsession that some dogs have towards chasing a squirrel or chasing a toy. Basically, it's anything at all that a dog fixates on, whether that's a routine, or in this case, a rock, or whatever it is, when they're so focused on something that they can't concentrate on anything else. And that's what this whole episode is about. And it's such a great episode. I really like how Cesar uses the method he's about to show in this with this dog. But let's break it down a bit. I did fast forward through the beginning because I just wanted to get to the meat and potatoes of the episode here. We're not here about rewatching the whole show. I'm just looking for examples so that I can kind of stop and explain what's going on. So let's do this.
It's unusual, it's unnatural. No dog in their own natural habitat becomes obsessive to anything.
So right off the bat, let's just look at dogs ahead of the owner. Look at the tension on the leash. I want to point this out here, this thick collar. These thick collars, I know a lot of people think that the bigger the collar is, the more control they have. It's actually the opposite. The smaller, the thinner the collar, the more control you're going to have. These collars, I know a lot of people put them on because it makes the dog look big and tough. They actually do serve a purpose, and it's to protect the dog in the case of a fight. If another dog attacks this dog, the goal is that if a dog goes for the throat, which they often do when they're making a kill move, the dog will hit this collar and not the dog's jugular. That is actually the mechanic behind these big thick collars. But of course, most people just pick it up because it's pretty and it's got studs, and maybe they want their dog to look cool, or they think, like I said earlier, that it's going to give them more control. It doesn't. It actually works against you. So here we go. We've got a tight leash. We've got a very excited dog who wants that rock at any cost, not listening to the owner, not paying attention to anything else. The only thing on that dog's mind right now is that rock.
Pack leader never allows obsessions or insecurity or instability.
And notice that he was locked into it. He was pulling. Eventually, the owner just gave in. And you'll hear this over and over. Cesar says it. I say it. Pretty much every trainer out there says it. Consistency is key. This dog has learned through consistency that if I pull and I tug hard enough, eventually the owner's going to give in. My human's going to give in, and I'm going to get the target. So this is a learned behavior. And even though the owner didn't mean to, she encouraged it by giving in, by eventually, he pulled and he pulled and he pulled, and eventually she just gave in. Instead of giving a correction, not allowing the pull to ever get to that point, and making the dog sit. And again, using my scale, this dog right now is at over a 5. Like on a scale of 0 to 5, this dog is, he's right off the charts. So let's get into it.
Dogs only develop that side effect when they live with us.
This is it. This is what
you're seeing it right here.
Okay.
Yeah. Honestly, I would not know what else to do.
So when you have the choke chain on,
notice how he's actually using her. She's trying to use her body to brace or to block him from getting at the rock, but to him, she's just an inconvenience. Like, she's nothing to him right now because the only thing in his mind is that rock. So he doesn't care. Like, he'll run right over her at this point. There's no respect, there's no boundaries, there's no personal space. The only thing that this dog zeroed in on is getting that target.
do you get a better respawn with it?
Not really. No,
No?
when he has.
So it's the same. So
When he's interested in the rock, he doesn't care about pain.
yeah.
They don't. When they get so hyper focused on stuff that really nothing you say or do once they've already gotten into that mode is going to work. The goal is to never allow them to get to that point. We want to keep our dogs. I use the scale of 0 to 5. Zero is a sleeping dog. 1 is they're awake, but they're still pretty groggy. 1.5, 2, they're alert, they're paying attention, they're with us, they're present. 3, they're starting to get amped. This is where you're going to start hearing some growling and barking, and just starting to become agitated or alert. 4, now they're actually starting to aggressively bark. They're starting to snap, bare their teeth. And then 5 is what this dog's doing, barking, severely barking, growling, lunging, snapping, biting, those kind of behaviors. So our goal as an owner is to keep our dogs at the ideal spot, which is kind of, 1.5 maybe in the house, 2.5 when they're out on a walk. We never ever want to let them get past that 2.5. Once they're getting into the 2.5, now they're getting into a more primal state, and that's where we need to knock them down. If we do it at a 2.5, it's so much easier. It's just a very light correction. A lot of times we don't even have to do a correction. It's just a reminder. But when they're already at a 5, no matter what we do, nothing is going to work at that state. It's too far gone.
He knows no pain at that point.
So in this case, I want the mind to become weak or sensitive to the presence of my physical touch. I am not trying to hurt the body, the mind, the spirit, or anything. I'm just trying to create an opening.
So right there, you saw Cesar go in and bite, right? So he used his hand and he just did a correction, and every time the dog went to approach the rock, Cesar went no and gave a bite. Now, I've never done this before. I do want to show you a different video clip. This is of a mother dog, because I know a lot of people go, oh, this is abuse, or, this contact is abuse. I just want to show you what a mother dog does when a mother dog is teaching this exact same concept. So this mama dog here, she's got some puppies. She's obviously just starting to correct them. It's happening. Some puppies are excited. They're lunging for the teat, and they're latching on too hard, and it's hurting her. Now watch what she does in this exact scenario, because what Cesar's doing in that video is exactly what this dog is doing here with this puppy. Okay, you see that? So puppy went in to bite the teat too hard. Right away she goes, "Arr, arr." Right? She's not hurting the puppy. She's no stretch of the imagination is she hurting the puppy. Yes, she uses her mouth. Yes, she puts contact, just like Cesar does. She goes in, but she's not hurting the puppy. She is simply making it very loud and clear. Listen, this behavior is not acceptable. There you go again. So puppies are not respecting her personal space. She's already asked them to give her some space. She's moved away, and they're still continuing to be intrusive of her personal space. So you can't see her face there. I guarantee that she's doing a lip curl. You can hear the growl, grr. And now she's going to go in, because this little punk right here is being a little disrespectful. So she's going to go in and go snap. Again, not going to hurt the puppy, just like Cesar's not hurting that dog. It's just a very firm no. Okay, do you see that? I'm just going to back up it. I really want you to see this dog's face. See the lip curl, then yum, 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 right? All those signals, they're so subtle to us, they're very often missed. But this is how dogs communicate with each other, and it's actually how they communicate with us too. So I really want you to pay attention. Look at her ears. Look at how those ears are down. Her head is hunched over. It's not that she doesn't love her puppies. She loves her puppies, but she's in teacher mode right now. Her job is to teach these puppies to darn well respect her personal space. They have no right barging in and biting her teats. They need to be gentle. They need to be respectful when they come into her personal space. And that's what she's teaching them. There you go. I didn't invite you in. Get away. Right? Another little nip. She doesn't hurt. Just another nip, just like what Cesar's doing. There you go. Now, did she hurt the puppy? Absolutely not. Did that puppy learn the lesson? Probably. It's definitely learning it. It came in, Mama this time, she's already given the puppy, 2, 3, 4 corrections? Growl, lip curl, lip smacking, body language. She's corrected twice now that we saw with the bite. This time she says, you know what, kid, I've had it. You don't want to listen to these other warnings. This is it. So now the puppy really gets disciplined, and I think this time he finally gets the hint. There you go. So puppy backed up, just like what Cesar's going to ask that dog to do in the video with the rock. I want some space. So this puppy right here learned that, okay, mama's serious. When mama's serious and she wants space, I need to give her space. I need to respect what my mom's saying. Now you notice this puppy walked right past Mama. Mama had no problem with this puppy because the intention was not to go after Mom's teats. This puppy was just like, hey, peace, I'm just sneaking through here. I don't know what you guys are doing, right? Puppy had no problem. Mom had no problem with that. She is 100% focused on the other puppy because the other puppy wasn't being respectful.
In order for him to calm down, when people becomes panic, we use it.
Okay, so right there, he did that. Just like Mama did with her puppy, this is what Cesar's doing, right? You're getting into my personal space. This is my space, right? I want you to pretend like you have a hula hoop around you on the ground. You've got this hula hoop. Your dog is not to be allowed into that space, that hula hoop, unless you invite them. Anything that you're holding, any object that dog might want is off limits while it's in the hula hoop until you invite them in or you toss it out to them. Either way, the dog must give space.
Use our hand to snap them out of it. So it's a physical touch that makes the brain react. Hey.
So here, just like Mama would do, right? So hey, that's the that you hear Mama do. He goes in for a bite. Again, now this dog's out of 5, so it's going to be a little bit harder. He's going to have to do like Mama did and get really not mean, but more powerful, more authoritative here, because just like that puppy didn't learn the first 2 corrections, she needed a much stricter correction. That's what Cesar's going to have to do in this case, because he's got to snap this dog out of it and get the dog to actually give this belonging space.
For 45 minutes, Cesar uses touch and calm assertive energy to establish his dominance over Pumpkin.
I wish they would have showed it. They didn't. They just kind of gave a brief rundown. But yeah, then as they said in the video, Cesar spent 45 minutes. So this was not a quick fix. This was not an easy 1-minute correction. This was something that he had to do over and over and over to finally get this dog to realize that this is the correction. This is where you need to be. This is the space that I want for this target. I do not want you to try and take the target until I've actually allowed you to.
Bring the rock. The rock comes to him. He normally comes to the rock.
Right here. So he's looking at the rock, but he's being very respectful. He's very focused on it. You can see the lick smacking. His ears are very forward. Look at his shoulders. He's very focused on the rock, but he hasn't moved forward yet. Right there. So what Cesar did is as soon as that dog went to lurch forward, even though it wasn't an aggressive lurch, he was still moving forward. Right there, Cesar gave the correction. And that was just like Mama Dog did with her puppy there, that no, because you want to mark where you want the dog. Right now, just as the dog was starting to lurch forward, Cesar said, this is the space right here. I don't want you to give me space right here. I don't want you to give me space right here. I want you to give me space right here. Back up, give me a little bit of space. You can look at the rock all you want, but you're going to give me space.
Right? So now I own the rock. Now I am becoming the one who owns the rock.
And this is where it's so important that we establish boundaries with our dogs right off the bat. By teaching this dog that, hey, I own this object, you can't take it, the dog learns respect. It learns that not everything in the world is his to take right off the bat.
I mean, this is beautiful where we are, but he doesn't focus on anything else except the rock.
So what he's doing here is by throwing the rock, he's teaching the dog, or kind of smacking the rock on the ground. He's teaching the dog, just because I put it down doesn't mean that you need to go after it. You can still give it space. You can still stay calm and balanced. You don't need to get into that excited state, because this is, years of repetition, right? This dog has gone, it's associated the sound, the smell, the texture, everything with excitement. So now he has to do a little bit of desensitizing to get this dog to rethink his relationship with rocks.
Hey.
And see, this is perfect, right? So this is what we want. Just like that puppy backed up, took a couple steps back, went, oh, okay, sorry, Mom, I blew it. That's what this dog's doing. He's doing the lick lip. He's still excited, but he backs up. His ears are nice and flat. He's being submissive. He's saying, okay, I'm still really excited, but I'm going to give space. And that's what we're looking for.
Now we're doing psychological behavior. We don't have to touch anymore. Now we are going to condition the mind that this sound means stop. So I'm following the principle of...
So right there, that was great, right? He kept throwing it and throwing it and throwing it. When he got too close, the dog kind of lunged forward. He could have, at that point, I don't know if he did, but he absolutely could have gone in and given him a correction and said, hey, just because I've thrown it over beside you doesn't mean that you get to grab it yet. I haven't given you a command. If you really want your dog to play with rocks or play with ball or whatever it is that it's obsessed with, you can still do this, but you have to desensitize them to the object and then teach them what the rules are around it. You can chase it once I give you a command, but when you're on a leash, you can't chase it. When, you set your perimeters up, whatever you're comfortable with in your home, you set those perimeters up and then you let your dog know what those rules are by doing what Cesar's doing here.
Exercise discipline or body-mind. Body-mind. I touch the body, then the mind got it. Now I'm touching the mind, then the body gets it. This is what I mean about...
So he's kicking the rock, and what he's doing is he's saying, just because I'm kicking it doesn't mean you get to chase it. You can watch it, but we're going to walk. You're on a leash. You're going to walk with me. Watch me kick this rock. Watch me interact with this rock. It does not give you permission to take it yet.
Amanda, she was aggressive. She felt she was firm. But firm is just like, that's not assertive.
What he's describing there about being, assertive, dominant, right? When you start getting angry because you've dealt with this thing over and over again, and you come to the dog with that energy, the dog isn't hearing a lesson. It's just reacting to your emotions at that point. That's why it's so important that when you're dealing with training with your dog, that you do it when you're in a good mood, when you're in a good headspace. There's really no use. If you try to do this when you're in a bad mood, you've worked all day, you're exhausted, and then you come home and you decide you're going to work with your dog, you're bringing that negative energy into it, and the dog's going to feed off that negative energy. You'd be much better to go have a nice bath or shower, maybe eat, relax, get into trainer mode. Give yourself permission for the next 10 minutes. I'm going to focus strictly on this, and I'm going to come in with a positive intention.
That only feeds that energy back into a dog. So he's not going to understand any message that way. Probably one of those cases that I would like to take to the center is something that he can get from a dog faster than he can get from us.
Yes and no. You can tell this dog's already picking up the lesson fairly quick. Unfortunately, whether the owner is at a point yet where the owner could follow through, that's really where the question is. So by bringing this dog to the center, he can spend, a week or two actually really, really working with this stuff. And by the time he comes back to the owner, he will already have a good foundation. And this is where, as trainers, sometimes we have to assess an owner and say, is the owner capable of following through with this? Does the owner have enough skill or tools in their own tool belt to be able to follow a regimen for a while until this dog is 100% feeling differently about the rock?
And it will be very helpful for him to have a little vacation away from you, so he can totally go into a retreat, so to speak.
So you can see even here, Cesar's been working with him, we know, for at least 45 minutes, right? Because he said earlier in the clip that he had been with him for 45 minutes. So he's not fixed. He's still a long way away. He was way better when he was with Cesar. Now the owner, right? He's over here with the owner. He's leaning up against the owner. So he's already reverting back to his old behaviors, which is that, just hyper focused on the rock. So when Cesar has him, he's still focused on the rock, but he's giving some space. Now with the owner, he's back to just, guaranteed if the owner picked up the leash right now, he would be lunging for it. Actually, I think there's a clip here where he does grab it and Cesar has to grab it back from him because he's reverting already just in those few minutes of being back with the owner. He's reverting to those old behaviors.
Having you around, the source of the obsession is not there.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I'll go to yoga and get it calm myself.
Read a book.
That's such a good attitude, right? Like, she's getting a break. Doggy's going to go off for training, going to go off for school. Mom gets to recenter herself and become calm because she's got all this negative energy now towards what's been going on. She still loves her dog, but it's a frustrated love. And so by her going off to yoga or doing meditation, she can help recenter her relationship with her dog back to something that's more healthy.
For 14 days, his pack of balanced dogs will assist in Pumpkin's rehabilitation.
And these dogs are going to do exactly like we just saw in that clip with the mom dog, right? It's not just the mom dog that does this. Other dogs in a pack will do this too. You'll see lip curling. You'll see as soon as he starts to get excited, the other dogs are going to correct him. They won't want him to be that excited because dogs want balance. That's why if you've ever, maybe you've gone through it yourself or you know someone who has a dog that always gets attacked when it goes to the dog park, that's why. Because that dog comes with an unbalanced energy. Every other dog, even balanced dogs in the pack, can't handle that unbalance and they attack. And so that's what this dog is going to walk into here, is he's going to be forced by all these other dogs to stay balanced. Every time he starts to get hyper focused on the rock, these dogs are going to correct him.
So now we're going to see how the pack relates to Pumpkin. He's a little excited right now. The pack is going to behave excited towards him.
So right now he's really excited. He's like, roar, 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 right? So this isn't a dominant bark. This is just a very super excited bark, but it's certainly not submissive either. What he's telling all these other dogs without meaning to is, hey, I'm coming with an excited state, already off balance. And you can hear these other dogs in the back there barking at him saying, good luck. You come in here right now, or we're going to knock you down.
It's like, hey!
See, they're already feeding off the energy, right? So this dog's coming with that excited energy. These dogs, because they can't get at him, they're redirecting on each other.
You bring one unstable dog into a stable pack, it's going to be a reaction.
And that's what I just said about dogs, an unstable dog being at a dog park, and all of a sudden, he's getting attacked. It's that exact same energy. They just react. The dogs, they can't handle that unbalanced energy.
Here it is. Calm, submissive state now. Now he can go inside that pack. Hey.
I want you to notice that he doesn't rush Cesar. Cesar makes him walk in calmly. His ears were nice and low. His tail is excited, but it's low. It's not straight up. It's not tense. It's not tucked in between his legs. He's asking him, just walk in, just be with me, be present. That's got to be pretty intimidating for this dog to walk in with all of these other dogs. But by having him walk beside Cesar and not barge in, he's setting the dog up to be received by all these other dogs in a more balanced state.
So follow me. And my job as a pack leader is to reestablish that balance immediately.
So what he's doing is he's telling these other dogs, just like Cesar was doing with the rock with this dog back there, he's saying, give me space. I didn't say to crowd me. I don't want, this dog right now is mine. I'm bringing it through the gate. I am going to introduce it to you. Your job is to just give me some space and allow me to get in to the gate and approach you. When I tell you it's okay to come in, then you can come in. But until then, you give me space.
Hey, we can't.
So right there, that was a pretty severe correction, but he had no choice in that environment because basically he's protecting the dog from being attacked. That dog went from being submissive and calm to switching right up to like a 4, almost a 5. Thankfully, Cesar was able to catch it right then and there and knock it right back down again. And he had to do it severe because what he's trying to teach this dog right off the bat, you must remain calm in here or it's gonna turn ugly fast. So the tail he's very submissive right now. You can see that tail is clenched. It's tight down onto the bum, almost in between. It actually is kind of tucked between the back legs. Kind of hard to see there. Hard to see the head, but you can see the head is lower. I guarantee those ears are very flat. He just soft. He's trying his best to be as soft as possible right now because this is super intimidating to be in walking into this environment. So here, now, this is a really good, I'm glad I stopped right here. We've got some whale eye going. So the ears all of a sudden went from being soft and submissive to pinned back. His face tightened up. You can see the stare that he's giving this dog right here is, I'm going to attack. So he's zeroed in on this other dog and he's going to attack. And thankfully, Cesar picks up on it right away and he gives a correction. Yeah. He went from submissive, dominant, and then kind of walked away. And as he walked away, he went, I'm still dominant. And Cesar went, no, and corrected it again. So this is where follow through is so important. You have to follow through. You can't just let them get away with it and then run and keep doing it behind your back. You have to follow through and actually wait for them to go back to being submissive again.
They have to see that I have control over him right away.
So a submissive dog wouldn't go running off and smelling right away. So right there, that said that he wasn't quite submitted yet. Cesar gave the correction. He kind of skirted off to along the edge of the fence, and then immediately came back in to smell that other dog. Cesar went, hey, no, we're not doing that right now, and gave another correction. And this time you can see the dog go, okay, fine, you win. And all of a sudden he's going to start softening.
Otherwise, one of them is gonna try to control him immediately.
And there's her, okay, I give up, right? He's laying down. I'm not quite sure what you want from me because this is brand new to him. So he's saying, I don't know what you want from me, but okay, I'll stop trying to control the scenario.
Today is the biggest day you can ever dream about, especially trying to help him to stop being neurotic about the rock.
So that was a really playful, you could see that interaction there. That's completely different than before when he was, given the whale eye, his eyes were, you could see the whites in his eyes and he did that kind of that side eye at the other dog. This is a much more playful interaction. This dog comes over and says, hey, let's play. And this guy says, okay, let's do it. And it's very gentle. It's very fun, completely different reaction than before. So yeah, that's awesome.
So far, he's been playful with the pack. We knew. There we go. This is great.
So this is just a game of tag, and you can see. Look at the joy in him now. He's like, woohoo! These guys are going to chase me, and I guarantee you that he's going to outrun everybody because you just see it. He's built for speed. This guy.
I just know that this poodle can actually match the way he plays. So it's important to know your dog very well before you introduce it to a new dog.
I'm really glad Cesar said that because I know a lot of his episodes, he just shows, walking into a whole pack of other dogs and saying, here I am, and expecting these other dogs to respond. And so I'm glad that he pointed that out so people realize that it is so important that you know your dog really, really well before you start bringing them into a dog park where there's a ton of other dogs all running up to them.
After I drain some of this energy, I'm going to work with the rocks now in order for him to understand the concept of rock ball. What is allowed and what is not allowed.
So this is really good because what he's doing now is he's got the dog conditioned to the ball, right? He's throwing the ball for all the dogs. The dog has associated joy with going and getting the ball. And so by what we're going to see next is him transferring the energy from the rock to the ball, saying that this is where we want you to be, but we also want you to maintain this level. We'd never want you to get to a point where you're being hyper-focused, whether it's on the ball or the rock.
Stop.
This is kind of frustrating. Like I understand what Cesar's doing, but this is where our differences show, because I personally would not teach in this environment. I feel like there's way too much activity going on, and this particular case, what are the odds that this dog's going to be running around with 20 other dogs, right? I think it's better to teach this dog how to be excited in a more controlled environment where the dog is realistically going to be 99.9% of its life. Take it out for a walk and get that level of excitement, but teach it to leave the rock alone, right? He was doing that by doing the kicking and the throwing and, smashing the rock on the ground. He was already accomplishing all of this. So this level with the dogs and the excitement, I personally don't really see a huge benefit to it. One good thing is that this dog is seeing, like, he's hearing the rocks clanking, and what he is, noticing is none of the other dogs are reacting to it, right? So if all the other dogs started getting excited every time they heard that clicking, it wouldn't take long for him to think, this is something to be excited about. But because Caesar's making the clanking sound and none of the other dogs are reacting, it is reinforcing the belief to this other dog that there's nothing exciting here. This is not worth getting excited about.
The only one who's behaving weird is Pumpkin. He's the only one who's still not being submissive completely, but at least it's not moving towards the rock like he used to. See it?
No, not the rock you're clanking, but he's still looking for other rocks. But he's definitely way better than he was. There's no doubt about it. But he's these cases, these obsession cases, they're tricky. They are tricky. They take time. And this is where a lot of the problem comes into, because most owners don't want to put the time in. They give up too quickly, or we're all busy. We all have super busy lives, right? And so having to devote time to something like this can be a lot for an owner.
Pumpkin has definitely come a long way. This is the stepping stone for him. This is a great jump start for him.
Come on, Cesar. That pun was 100% intentional, right? A stepping stone? Yeah. Okay. We got you.
Right now, he's the fastest member of my pack. Nobody
knew it. I called that. You could just see this dog is built for speed.
So this is what I would call an active submissive type mind. But the ideal is for him to become submissive after he finished being active submissive.
I like how he brings that up. Again, this is such an important lesson. It's really, I can't stress enough how important it is that we exercise our dogs. A tired dog is a good dog, right? So before you want to sit down and teach your dog something, take them out for a good brisk walk. Burn off some of that energy. Release think of it as a pressure cooker, right? Release some of that pressure, then come back and start doing a training session. If you're trying to train a dog that's already amped up, it's already excited, it's already under pressure, how on earth are they ever going to be able to process what you're teaching them?
So he knows you here.
This is a great exercise he's walking with Pumpkin. He's making the clicking sound as he's walking. So Pumpkin is realizing, just because I hear this clicking, just because my handler is holding the thing that I like, doesn't mean that I have to react.
This we want. Now, the ball. We have to change the mind just from the presence.
I'm a bit concerned about this because I see what Cesar is doing. So Cesar, in his mind, he just wants to break the dog of the rock obsession. But this is a dog that's already proven that he can be obsessive with anything. He's chosen rocks for this, but we don't want to transfer the obsession to rocks onto the obsession with ball. We really need to teach this dog that he needs to give space to whatever we're handling, whatever we're dealing with, whether it be a rock or a ball or a pizza. So that barking that he's doing, again, he's trying to get him excited, but we got to be really careful, because what I saw while Cesar was walking and talking there was him the dog getting into Cesar's space, starting to jump, getting excited, very animated towards the ball. And what we run into the risk of is him becoming no longer rock obsessed, but now he's become ball obsessed.
Gotta keep the mind focused on something. If you don't give him something to focus on, he's gonna go into what he normally focuses on.
Displacement theory,
Yeah.
we know that.
So you can already see it's starting, right? So he's just hyper focused on that ball. What I would like to see in this case is for him to just relax and go with the flow. He's no different than he was with the rock. He's so hyper focused on the ball now. He's not paying attention to his surroundings. He's not enjoying the scenery, as Cesar said earlier. He's just gone from being obsessed with rocks to obsessed with balls. So, yeah.
We can make the mind excited, and we can make the mind calm down.
Right.
I guess that's what he was trying to demonstrate. Again, I think there's other ways to demonstrate that without teaching the dog to be excited about the ball. I think it probably, I like most of Cesar Millan's methods. I really do. I do feel quite strongly in this episode that we probably should have just focused on keeping him more calm and balanced and allowing him to have periods where he goes chasing the ball. But as soon as he starts getting hyper focused, the barking and yapping at the ball like he was doing, that's when you need to make a correction. Because again, he needs to set this dog up to know that you can go from 2 to 3, be excited, chase the ball. But then once I have the ball again, you need to go back down to a 2.
So when the mind is calm, they eat, but when the mind is excited, they won't.
Right, yeah.
So we have the 3 elements: the ball, the food, the rock. So you see the transformation.
I think maybe one of my problems is that like these methods work, but I feel like he's overcomplicating it, maybe because it's for the TV show. I have nothing against Cesar. I'm not trying to come down on him. I just feel that for the average viewer that watches this is a lot to process, right? I just want to keep this as simple as possible so that people at home that are watching these can realize that you don't need to overcomplicate it, right? Teach your dog to respect your space, give space to objects, so in this case the rock or the ball, and to wait for a command or a signal from you that it's okay to go from level 2 to level 3, but that he must immediately go back down to a level 2. These are all things that can be taught without needing a huge pack of dogs, without all creating excitement and then giving treats. And I just feel like there's way too much room for error with this. So like I said, I'm just trying to keep it centered. I want to keep it as easy for the viewer that watches this to be able to say, okay, I learned something. I'm going to try it with my own dog now. So we don't want to overcomplicate it.
It's amazing that he's not getting those rocks and he's going after the tennis
I know,
balls
there's so many around here and he's not even going after any
He's
of them.
not doing anything.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that is amazing.
You can see right there. No, you're right. They're right. He's not going after the rock, but he's still very focused on it. And the only reason I'm bringing that up, I'm not trying to nitpick Cesar. He's done a fantastic job with this dog. What I am saying is that, again, the dog's not fixed. This is not just a 1, 2, 3, okay, the dog's magically fixed. This will take, as the dog has been with Cesar now for 2 weeks. So that just shows you how long the process can take. With obsessive dogs like this, sometimes it can take a long time. That's not to discourage you. I just want to set the expectation so you don't just turn this video off and say, okay, I'm going to spend an hour training my dog and it's magically going to be fixed. It does mean you have to be consistent, set your rules, your boundaries, your limitations, follow through, and expect good things to happen in time.
So what are you learning so far?
Having a dog is not just about you and what you want from the dog, that being a pack leader really is a lot of responsibility, and that you have to be vigilant all.
You know what? I think this is just fluff at this point. So if you want to watch the full episode, I will provide a link in the description so you can go and watch the full episode of this case. However, for today, I think I'm going to leave it at that. Hopefully I covered some stuff here for you. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave comments down below and I will absolutely do my best to get back to you on them. Aside from that, I just want to thank you guys so much for watching and for subscribing. It's been amazing. I'm a brand new channel, so it's been really exciting for me to follow my dream of starting this channel and watching it grow. I'm having a great time. So hopefully you are too. And I can't wait to see you again. So you take care. Bye.